Nothing else. All right, you're welcome back. It's time to take a look at the newspapers. It will be our first edition for the week. And we have, as usual, Dotun Ojon, a leadership and communication expert. Good to have you on the show this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dotun. I hope you had a great weekend.
Yeah.
Fantastic weekend.
Great. Fantastic. All right, we'll begin with the Daily Trust. Buhari launches campaign manual, says, let's not set Nigeria ablaze. Okay, the point is, will the politicians listen? Okay, so it's get, set, go.
You know why it's very, very good at this point in time? I learned also that there will be another one today by the PDP. It's because they are trying to give us an opportunity to hold them very responsible if they fail at the end of the day, either of the political party after the 2019 election. And this is what I mean. Before 2015 election, there were a lot of manuals, there were a lot of leaflets that were circulating. This is what we will do when we get to government. This is what we will do. But it got to a point where the president had to come out that I didn't make some of these promises. It turned out to be that the party was making promise. It turned out to be that some leaders of the party were also making promise. And the president had an agenda. So now we are having a coordinated report that is going to show at the end of the day, the template that you are through which you will hold them responsible if they fail. So
they are all in agreement.
They are all in agreement. Either they are all in agreement or not. The president is coming out to say this is my blueprint and I'm going to follow it. So at the end of the day, you'll be able to hold them responsible. Okay. Let me cite an example of what circulated at one point in time. It was the issue of naira and dollar that I'm going to make this equal to this.
Exactly.
To me, I knew it was impossible at that point in time. But because it circulated, a lot of people believed. And perhaps they voted for the government as a result of that. But after they came into power, the president said, he never said that.
Well, and even besides that, the concept of making the price of what is it called? Fuel price. Bringing it down to 40 naira per liter.
He said, later on we found out that it was one of the leaders of the party in Port Harcourt that actually said that if I trust this man, if he comes, he's going to bring this thing to 40 naira.
All right, what else do we have here? Buhari Obasanjo Atiku for Jonathan's book launch tomorrow. It will be such a sight to behold, you know, to see all three gentlemen in the same place at the same time. How interesting would that be?
No matter how bad we think some of these our leaders are, there's an example they set at every point in time that we, the followers, we have failed to learn from. If you see a PDP, for example, in the airport, it happens a lot. If they meet at the airport, they embrace themselves, they talk, they gist and all that. I wonder why we go first to the social media to kill ourselves. And on the day of election, we are machetes all over the places. So we need to learn that from our leaders. And leaders are not sending us to kill ourselves.
We're only sending ourselves.
We're only sending ourselves.
But besides that, when it comes to writing books, I think someone was saying Nigerian leaders, because there's so much in office, whether you are the president or vice president or secretary to the government or the federation or senate president or speaker, there's so much to that office. Sometimes if you don't write a book, no one really gets to understand the dynamics. You know, so writing a book like this will go a long way, exactly, to making Nigerians have a window, have an understanding.
It is deliberate. They may not know. When you see them not writing books, I think it's deliberate, so that they can hold down the next generation. How do you garner experience? I don't necessarily need to go to the government house to gather experience, but if I read your book, if you have been a governor, for example, that can give me a template.
Absolutely,
through which I can actually get my experience to work.
Exactly.
It means that you will not suffer the same pitfalls that the person who wrote.
For example, another thing is that
learn from their
if you don't read, you
Let's
can't
move on.
write.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yes. And only leaders read. Leaders are leaders. Okay. Globalcom unveils iconic retail outlet in Lagos. 4 INEC workers, core members, die in accident, and a 3-year-old too, according to that report I read elsewhere.
All right, let's move to the next one now. The Punch newspaper, 2019, Buhari Atiku unveil plans as campaigns begin. And you can see boldly on the front page of the Punch newspaper there, next level 2019, that's the slogan there. Well, certainly we're going to see slogans from all the political parties, PDP, APC, YPP, and all of that as we get along.
And that is Buhari
on the Shibajo, exactly. And we expect to also see Atiku and Obi in their own, as they unveil today, maybe later on today. Now, federal government in talks with Transnet for railway concession. That's the Minister of Transport, Rotimi Amechi, is saying that the concept of concession is still on. The real project in Nigeria. You know, one thing, everyone has one thing to say about the rail projects and so on. Everyone is happy, but when it gets to the level of kicking off, it always doesn't necessarily kick, especially the east-west corridor.
Yeah.
You see, I think we do all know the solution to our problems. But the major challenge we have is that we will never do the solution we know. We know that we have been complaining about this Apapa road for how many years now? We know that simple putting rail system to work,
solve that problem.
we solve majority of this problem.
Yeah.
But again, are we ready as a people? It's just beyond government paying lip service that this is what they want to do. That does not mean that this government has not at least taken some giant strides when it comes to road and rail building and all that. They have done well. But again,
when it comes to rail, the rail from the airport in Abuja into town, I understand I've not been there, but it's really fantastic from the pictures we've seen and records of people who have gone there.
So we hope that they will be able to translate the success in Abuja to other parts. Because the problem we have is not even in Abuja. The problem we have is not in Abuja. The problem we have is in other parts of the country where people need to move. And that is why you cannot
in highly populated
that
areas
is why
like
poverty,
Lagos.
people don't get to, they can't understand some of these indices. That is why poverty is on the increase. One of the reasons, if for example there's no regulation as to if I am moving from Ibadan to Lagos, a driver can come and say, oh, it's 1,500 because you can't regulate them.
Exactly.
In India, for example, the first thing they achieved was for them to be able to regulate even to the point of the market price of their product. If you get to India, for example, now with a student ID, the price of good that you will get will be different from the working class. Everybody goes AWire because there's no regulation. And government cannot regulate if their own system is not
It's
working.
not working. That's the point.
All right. Army uncovers new terrorist group in Northeast. All right. The army is still recording success. Obasanjo sues journalists for 1 billion naira over Bola Ige assassination claim. It was that was over just a few days ago when an online radio.
Yeah, I almost thought that there have been an issue between the journalist and Obasanjo because all those things were, he was reeling out, and I was like, really? I think I expected this.
And if you listen to the language, certainly when it comes to the ethics, that's why we talk about the ethics of
the profession.
Because you know, when they talk about online radio, okay, it's as close as it's close to social media, so anyone can. But if you bring it to conventional radio, certainly what was said or was reported to have been said on that online radio, you cannot say it on conventional radio.
Okay,
all right.
What else do we have?
Alleged 2.2 billion naira fraud file share trial begins today. Okay, that's the Punch newspaper.
Okay, so going to the point now. 2019 polls, how APC may hand over power to PDP on a platter of gold. Okay, obviously what this paper is saying, if care is not taken, we might find ourselves saying deja vu like it happened in 2015. If some of the issues are not resolved within the APC, you know, all the different cracks and all of that seem to be widening. But Festus Keyamo says there is no crisis in our party.
Hey.
Okay.
And Nabena says Nigerians won't go back to 16 years of hardship.
You see, I said it that PDP may not totally be absolutely marketable at this point in time, because at every point in time, and APC too, you know, there were a number of people in PDP that have moved to APC. And this same set of people, I listened to the Minister of Transportation yesterday, castigating PDP, yes, as if it was never part of the party. So it's people still remember a lot of things that they did not do well. But again, you are not going to take chances because you think they didn't do it well.
In other words, none of the two parties can afford to take anything for granted.
Yes, the difference between PDP of 2015 and the current reality of APC is that people got angry in PDP and they moved out in 2015. Now a lot of people are angry in APC, but they've decided to remain. So, and the kind
Which
of
is
enemy-
but some persons
which is
lose
more
out
dangerous.
Which is more
Which is
dangerous.
more
because
dangerous.
People are already saying there are chances that some people who are truly disgruntled within the APC will stay within the party and work against the party.
From within.
From
That
within.
is more dangerous.
So they need to continue to unite their party. They need to continue to unite the people. Don't think that nothing will happen. I hate it when I hear that nobody is going to take over. I hate it.
Okay, all right. Well, you might be troubled with this next one. Over 45 bankers die in top 5 banks in 3 months. Inside sources, workers blame regulators, banks for stress-related complications. So it's not just the banks themselves that are stressed. The staff of banks are under a lot of pressure. Yeah, obviously, you know, to ensure that the bank doesn't go under.
They keep afloat.
So, yeah.
You see, it's very disturbing when you have reports like this. And in
Really
all honesty,
disturbing.
when you have such number, the reality is that
45.
it may actually be more. It may be more. The greatest challenge we face as a people now is that of stress. And because of religiosity, we do not want to leave our house and go to the hospital and run ordinarily and just say, I want to check my body. Because you listen to the pastor on Sunday saying that all
By your
well,
stripes I'm healed.
You understand? You do not
I am
want to,
well.
You do not want to do that.
I'm not sick.
And it's really sad.
there
Now,
anything
a man in my place, it's a scenario I'm painting.
Yes.
A man in my place has 2 vehicles. And because he wants to avoid the stress of driving on the road, he decided to leave the vehicles at home to take public transport. But the man gets to the bus stop, he has to spend about 1.5 hours standing before he gets a vehicle. Gets to the office around 9 o'clock, it's already worn out. And he doesn't get to close until 5 p.m. He gets home 11 p.m., leaves house 5 a.m.
The same process.
And you
Not
do
a
that
people again.
over and over and over and over.
The
How
same,
would they kill ourselves?
you know, routine. Human trafficking, IOM planning to repatriate 10,000 Nigerians. That's according to NAPTIP. Mother and son arraigned for stealing 80,000 naira cash and 20,000 naira recharge cards. How desperate things have become. Jubilations as abducted Zamfara twin sisters regain freedom.
Wow,
That was
I
a very,
really very happy to hear the
yes, it happened over
No, not happy that,
over the weekend. 15,
this-
of course, they had to pay 15
Yeah.
million ransom for their
Yes.
freedom. Okay.
Okay, let's move to the next one now. New Telegraph is our next paper now. 2019, fireworks begin.
Yes.
Boom, boom, gaga. You know, when we were younger, you watch when they say gaga.
Yeah.
The film.
Mm,
Okay.
It's not gang.
Okay.
Ta-na-na.
Okay. All right. Okay. Fine.
That's not a local movie.
No, that was a classic. The good, the bad, the ugly. Any day. All right. Buhari, Atiku is deceitful, playing politics with restructuring. Okay. And Atiku, you are good at making promises, but don't deliver. All right. PDP, Nigeria can't survive another 4 years under president. And president to politicians, don't set Nigeria ablaze over polls. US, UK, EU, others demand fair campaign. Caution INEC.
Well, the
Okay.
politicians themselves will have to, show a lot of good example. But
Yes, exactly.
from what we just read now, they're already at each other's,
You see, my major challenge
throats.
is not even whether they talk tough or anything. My major challenge is with their policy documents.
Stay on the
Because
issue.
I do not want to see a similar promise. You know, at every point in time, we come out to say, this is what I'm going to do. And at the end of the time, we do not get to do it. For example, one of the reasons why I do not totally like the government of PDP is the issue of power. For example, PDP seems to have laid a very wrong foundation. And APC now is now coming boldly to judge themselves with the bad foundation of PDP. Electricity, for example, got to Lagos in the year 1889. That was in Marina. That was the first time that we had a power plant. That was about 7 years after England. Now, if from that year till now, we are still celebrating 7,000 megawatt of electricity, and it is not the electricity that comes to your house, it is the electricity that is being generated, and somebody is going to come again and make the same promise that, oh, PDP declared a state of emergency in 2008, and 10 years later, or even after 2 years, they were unable to generate 5,000 megawatt. Unfortunately, they built this very bad foundation, and APC now as a party is now coming to judge themselves with PDP achievement.
Well, others will say,
We have issues, so-
but others will say, is it really about the political parties? Because the point there, it is about the leaders themselves. Because we have seen a cross-carpeting of leaders here and there from the osmosis or diffusion of leaders from one political party to another, where it is not different. But the point there is, all the leaders from independence until now, have they been able to deliver? Even the founding fathers that we have all talked about, have they really delivered? We've seen founding fathers in so many other countries, even India, as the case may be. We've seen all of those.
And the real question that I've asked, several times is, our founding fathers that you just referred to, did they lay the right foundation? If they did, how did we go wrong? Why did we go wrong? And is it possible for us to, remove whatever we have built on that strong foundation so that we can actually, build something?
If you and I should rely on what our father, our biological father, handed over to us, we will not be where we are. That is why we need disruptive thinkers. I think the best thing APC, and I want to say this very clearly, I think the best thing APC should have done is to look within their fold and bring up somebody who is a disruptive thinker, not a traditional leader. Now we should not be talking about Buhari and Atiku. In a safe society, if we really want to move forward, we should be talking about, for example, if an APC had gone within the fight and brought out maybe a Ribadu, who also believes in the anti-corruption drive of the present government, and they flagged him, who will know that there will be destructions here and there. That's why I don't want to hear this old promise of we will fix this, we will fix that, and at the end of the day, we will not be able to do something. It's not as if I'm not hopeful, but we should end this our traditional leadership style and thinking. The idea of democracy, I told you before, is like the idea of the BRT lane that we have. It is to make development faster. But once a BRT breaks down in the front, the other people, frustration sets in. That is the disadvantage of broken down kind of leadership.
We have issues, but certainly we know that one way or the other we'll fix them. Banks 2017 non-performing loans hit 2.36 trillion naira. The NDIC is revealing that. And Serap seeks probe of campaign funding claims by Saraki, and sex for Marx, ex-OAU professor, for arraignment today. And gunmen kidnap 45, collect 15 million naira to free twin sisters in Zamfara. All right, that's the new Telegraph.
All right, to the nation now. Buhari, my second-term plan. All right, Nigerians discerning enough to actually pick up, these plans, to actually look at them. What do these different parties really have to offer so that it will determine how they cast their votes come 2019? While we're rebuilding Ayefele's house, okay, you of course you have to look at that.
I hope that money is from his personal purse.
You're talking about Jimobi's
yes, I hope the money is from his, because you cannot take a decision overnight and say you want to put down something.
Only
and
to
tomorrow you will now
rebuild?
go back to the state government. They spend money to put down that place. Money was spent. So you will not go back to the same source and bring money to rebuild it in the name of politics. See, if we do not solve the problem of politics in Nigeria, we may not be able to go past this level.
Absolutely.
I don't need to hate you because you do not belong to the party.
There was a lot of criticism over the demolition of part of that building, but now that the government has reconciled with the CEO of the building, as the case may be, everyone is saying it's okay. That's what we
will
want
it solve the
place.
problem that the Oyo State government said or
Raised in
claimed?
the first
In the first place. Okay.
Or once
And
I
lies
agree
when
with you,
that's-
my sins are forgiven.
That's the $2 million question. So let's leave it there.
Well, Lai Mohammed, the information minister, says we have broken the Berlin Wall in Kwara State. Do you know we had a Berlin Wall in Kwara State? APC wins in Bauchi, Katsina. Okay, well, I guess what he's saying is, look, we've broken the jinx. Let's
I saw part of the Berlin Wall actually in museum in New York.
I actually had a piece
in
of
Washington.
it because
sorry,
I was in Germany
yes.
when the Berlin Wall came down.
Okay.
I had a piece of it for years.
Oh, great.
Honestly, I don't know who took it.
No, a chunk of it, a section of it was taken to the U.S. and is in the museum in Washington.
A section of it is now in Kwara.
Exactly. A section of it was taken to Kwara, I guess.
Okay, foreign investors, government divest from banks. Yeah. Not a very good one. Not a good one. Because the banks really now, you wonder whether the banks are just being, cropped up. Reality really has set in. But maybe the CBN, does not want to cause any kind of panic in the system to actually reveal that, look, banks.
No, but we don't expect any of such revelations for there to be panic. If there is panic in the system, there's going to be chaos. So as far as that is concerned, I feel that the banks and the CBN are handling it
But don't
perfectly.
forget there are talks about, some banks taking
merging
over,
or taking
merging
over
and all
others.
that.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah.
That's the much people are going to hear.
Yeah, it's only a sad thing that the big men are the one running Nigeria into trouble. Where are those monies that you and I deposit in the bank? You know what they do? Poor people bring their money to the banks, and the bank decided to lend it out to rich people. And the rich people will never get to pay back, and it enters bad debt. And at the end of the day, government is struggling
Taxpayers' money.
Somebody said the banks give you the umbrella when it's when the sun is very high, but when it starts raining, they take the umbrella from you.
Maybe the umbrella was there. So
I don't know whether you have had any reason to go to the bank to get some facility. The first time I was turned down. The second time, I promised myself not to go back there. Because it's boju-boju. I don't know the English, this thing. The more you look, the less you see.
Okay.
It is when you now go back. You know you need the money. And the needs around you, maybe business need or family responsibilities, the needs are pushing you to get the money. It is when you now get the money, your eyes will now open. You will now sit down to calculate. You know that you pay from life to death. And how much are they giving you? And all the money they packet, they give all the big men in town who will not get to pay back.
It's really a sad one. All right. Thank you, Dotun Ojon, for your analysis of the papers this morning. Thank you very much.